What's up, our 10 subscribers? This is Dr. Jones,
And Flame Nash, and welcome back to another episode. I understand we said we were gonna talk about source code this week.
but we also said we were going to talk about the Mandalorian, and that never happened, so
Yeah, I think we'll actually get to the source code. Get to source code.
yeah, we will.
I think we're playing that for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but instead we're gonna talk about Primer, which was another movie we had on our list. Um,
Yes.
so I think to start off, let's just kind of give kind of just the general premise of the movie. We have a group of brilliant engineers,
Aaron and
Aaron, Abe,
Abe.
and then
They're
two
pretty
other.
much the only.
Yep, the two.
Well, yeah, they don't really matter, though.
Yeah,
Like,
the other
it's
two don't really matter. They show up in the beginning, and then
the middle,
there's
but
a little bit in the middle, and then they're just not important.
yeah. And
So, so yeah, we have these two people where they're currently they kind of difficult to describe this. So
they were trying to make something with gravity,
yeah,
right? That's
they were.
what,
I think they were trying to make a superconductor or something.
yes,
That was their
something.
plan. And while doing this, they were trying to make it at room temperature instead of freezing it, putting
Mm-hmm.
it below sub-zero to make this. And I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I, I remember plot summaries, but I don't remember
Like,
exact
you
detail.
literally have to watch this movie 3 or 4 times just to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the director's intention.
Yeah. So I guess we have that. So I guess just going on from here, they're two extremely smart engineers.
Yes. Like, I think you said, like, Doc Brown from
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Yeah. Imagine Doc Brown from
And
back.
for, like, in the beginning, I really thought they were, like, the same person because it felt like some points, one person would say something and then stop, and then the other person would finish his thought.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
But instead we have. I mean, it's definitely a matter of they're so smart that instead of having Marty McFly to kind of show us this world, this new incomer, we have these two really smart people who will never explain anything. They keep these extremely technical details and
Yes.
expect you to really hope you understand them.
Because, I mean, the director is a real
He's a
engineer.
yeah, he's an engineer, and this
Yeah.
uh so I think before we continue on, we should give a little background of the film.
Hmm.
It was released in 2004 over a 3 year filming.
Yeah.
Over 3 years before it got out. I believe it started filming before 9/11 because there's a final scene at the very end scene. They're in an airport, and that airport scene was done but post pre 9/11,
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
And the budget was like estimated to be about $7,000.
Yeah, at least that's what I've read. The budget was about
Yeah.
$7,000, and quite a bit of that because this was back early 2000s. Quite a bit of
Mm-hmm.
that was just filming. It was just the film equipment.
Yeah.
So to
Because
make
the set designs really were just,
it's
I'm
kind
assuming, were houses and then the airport. There's nothing really,
I mean,
they didn't really have to make anything.
it was fields, the road, a backyard, a
Yeah.
house, a garage, a
The storage place,
storage
right?
unit, and that's about it actually. Oh,
Yeah.
and a hotel room.
Yeah. Hotel room.
I mean, that's about it actually. I think. Oh, and a library. They go to a library at one
Yes.
point. So it's literally that. That's all they film
Yeah.
in essentially. This is all it is. Oh, and cars, but they would have cars at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so we have going back, we have these two really smart engineers, and then one of the worst parts about the movie is because of this, they'll bounce thoughts. They will speak and explain their concepts, trying to figure something out, and the moment they figure it out, they just stop.
Yes.
They just
Yeah,
stop
they'll
because
just
they
stop.
realize it's like, oh wait, I don't need to explain this. Abe
Because
or
he
Aaron,
knows.
they'll understand.
Yeah.
It's know exactly where I'm coming from, and then
I
it
guess it
leaves the audience in dust. In the dust.
I
Uh,
guess it kind of makes it more of like Because would we, like, I'm just thinking in like real life, we wouldn't actually be explaining everything, right?
No.
So I guess it gives it more of like a just a realistic vibe, I guess.
So
But
yeah, there's also that. And I think one of my favorite parts about the movie is, I mean, like I kind of want to relate this back to English class. I mean, and a
go
novel we
ahead.
read. We read Pedro Paramo for our English
Yes,
course, and I think one of my favorite parts of the book. It's easily. I mean, it wasn't a great book, but it was one of my. It was pretty okay for this year.
interesting.
It was
Right?
interesting. One of the best things it did, in my opinion, was this jump between thoughts and kind of
Yeah,
constantly jumping. And now imagine instead of time, and we know exactly where they are in this time period essentially, and we jump just between these, and we see two chronological orders. Imagine instead of that, we're jumping universes and different Abes, and we
yeah.
never know which one we're in because they never explain it. And the only way to
Mm-mm.
ever figure it out is being really observant, listening to a commentary, or doing stupid amounts of research on this,
Or rewatching it three or
like
four
20
times.
times.
Yeah, because man, I was watching some of the videos and the amount of just time and research that would have had to go into some of
Mm-hmm.
these videos trying to explain it just would have taken forever.
I mean, I'm gonna shout out a website that I used. It's QNTM Quantum without so quantum without any vowels. Um, and what he did, it was a slash commentary. He did a commentary on this back in 2013. It was right before Shane Kurtz. So this is a Shane Kurtz film. And then
Hmm.
this was right before his second film was coming out. So he went and did a commentary on this, and um, he did literally a commentary that you watched alongside the movie, and he would explain these
Yeah.
different points and everything. And gosh dang, was it helpful? I watched it on my second viewing, like a day after I watched my first one. I mean, I got the first premise. I mean, and everything. I got the premise, but gosh dang, you
Hmm.
don't know anything after watching it the first time.
Yeah. After I watched a couple of videos. One of them was Understanding Primer in 6 minutes by James Van Fleet, and that really just helped just with describing
Mm-hmm.
the time travel and how it worked.
Yeah. So, I guess going on, I guess we should actually talk about the time travel works. I guess we should just get over.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of filler trying to. We have. I guess I think the only way to explain this is realistically we're gonna talk about this as if you've seen the movie here. So
Yeah.
sorry everyone.
You can find the movie on YouTube
I
with
mean,
you can find it on YouTube if you want to watch
I
it
think it goes pretty
first.
cheap nowadays. I think off of Amazon Prime, their video service, and I think even off of YouTube, if you're willing to spend money here, it's like $4.
Well, it's free on YouTube with like Chinese or Japanese subtitles.
Oh, I mean, you could do that. I mean, actually, if you want to buy it on like Google Play Store or iTunes is $4, Google Play is three
Yeah.
bucks, and then YouTube and Amazon Prime Video is $3. YouTube and Google Play just go hand in hand, and they're both $3 also. So I mean, it's cheap nowadays. It's a real
Hmm.
good cheap movie.
Yeah, it's amazing what they did with, a budget of $7,000.
Mm-hmm. So we have Abe and Aaron. I'm trying to. It was Aaron who was leading Abe to kind of go through his thoughts of creating this. I believe, right? They
I think.
had the rock, like the rocking toy,
Hmm.
go through as Aaron, who's already created and done,
The
who's already created the man-sized
yeah
machine
the
and
fail
used
safe,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And
Um,
he
he created the failsafe, but then Abe
mhm,
uses it multiple times,
yeah. And how
and
a
then
fail safe works is
they.
um
I guess we should explain how time travel works real quick because it'll make a lot more sense if we do.
yeah, it's I'll probably throw up an image just to
Yeah.
help, but
I mean, if
it's like
you
a loop, right?
so
You can
how
only time travel to where the box was turned on.
it's so how it works is it lessens the gravitational field separating you from the timeline essentially. And then in this timeline, you're constantly going back and forth between present and then the time the box was turned on. And then I was
Mhm.
getting to this point where we had it had a name. It had a name. I'm trying to remember what it was
It
called.
was the coffin, I think.
Well,
Right? They
no, no,
called it
no.
that.
The little toy, like the rocking toy they use.
Oh, was it a
It has a name, but I can't think of the name.
Russian nesting
No,
doll?
it
Or
wasn't a Russian nesting doll. It has a specific name, though it kind of looks like one. So they
yeah,
use these testings, and then they sent it in a minute, and they actually did the math on this, and going a day would be about 5 years.
yeah, and it
One
had
day. And
bacteria
it had,
built
to
up,
prove
right?
this, they had the bacteria build up that
Mm-hmm.
with no acceleration or anything, or sugar, without feeding it, it would naturally excrete in 5 years.
Yeah,
Everything. And everyone thought it was crazy. Aaron was crazy. So Aaron, they do this. They find out it's time travel, and they kind of they realize that with this, if they put something sentient in it, they would be able to jump out when it originally started.
mm-hmm.
And since the Russian nesting doll couldn't, it would always prove that when you pulled it out, it would be at the new time. So, but they theorized by doing this, so the only conscious thing they could use was themselves, a human test
Yeah,
subject, which is why Aaron built the coffins, and then in turn also the failsafe.
yes,
Um, so
because the failsafe was turned on
yep,
before they started,
before they
time
started
traveling, so they can
before
return to that point.
before Aaron told Abe.
Yes, right. And I was gonna comment on like how the acting wasn't that great, but if you think about it, Aaron has to act like surprised and like it's the first time he's ever hearing information.
Mm-hmm.
So
So, what's real interesting about it is, I mean, well, I guess we can talk about this now. Is Abe? He's gone through I think like 3 or 4. He's gone through the failsafe at least once.
yes,
No, twice I think at this
and
point because he gets the information from a past version of himself retelling the events, and he records the call, which is what we hear throughout his voice
I
narration of
think that
it.
was Aaron recording. Who was
Uh,
listening to it, right?
no, it was Abe.
Oh yeah,
I
I
think.
remember because he was recording him at the basketball game, right?
Um. Oh, might help. Um.
Trippy time travel stuff.
I mean, I'll just I'll just kind of. Oh no, it was Aaron. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Um, no, no,
They're kind of
no.
confusing,
Yeah,
right?
it's Aaron. Aaron's the one who does. This is so confusing. There's, I mean, I know who the main characters are, but I don't know which role
Aaron
they
made.
played.
Aaron was the one with black
Except
hair. It was
I think we've actually mixed them up. Abe, he refines the proof of concept. He builds the box, and then uses the foundation.
Abe's the one who first tells
Abe's.
Aaron about it on
Mm-hmm.
on the bench when he's supposed to be listening
Yeah,
to
I got the name switched up. I
March
okay.
Madness.
March
Yeah, I get
Madness.
them mixed up too.
I mean, they're the same character.
Yeah, I mean, kind of
So,
are.
um, Abe does a 6 hour, which is during these 6 hours
Yeah.
he tells Aaron and all this. He builds it, but all this time he builds a failsafe, builds the
Mm-hmm.
two boxes. He waits inside 6 hours, thus going back in time 6 hours. Um, and then
And then
future
he,
Abe travels drops down, tells everything to Aaron, and then brings Aaron back to Abe, and then brings Aaron back to there. And then at
yeah,
the end of the overlap time span, where then the box Aaron ceases to exist because it's gone back in
yes.
time. They then repeat this for multiple days. I'm
Yeah.
literally at this point, literally just reading off the plot summary from
I mean,
Wikipedia.
yeah,
They then divert, and then we have these two conscious about Abe wanting to be controlling, and Aaron who's impulsive and meddlesome, and they put a strain on this collaboration, and then kind of everything kind of falls apart. They're doing this, and then they meet Thomas Granger, who is Abe's girlfriend's father,
and
who
they
has
want to
entered.
impress him to get funding, right?
Well, that's all before. I mean,
Yeah.
this is when they meet him with who's time
Oh,
travel.
yeah.
Time
When
traveled.
he used the box.
When he used the failsafe, I believe is the box he
Yeah,
used.
because something happened at this party,
Mm-hmm.
right? Her ex-boyfriend came in with a shotgun, right? So, and then
So,
yeah,
And then after this, he sees Ranger falls into a comatose state once Abe and Aaron chase after them, and then Aaron
Hmm.
theorizes that at some point in the future, Granger entered the box. Um, I think I'm trying to remember if he entered. I'm trying to remember which box he entered because at that point, one of them, I think it was
Yeah,
Aaron,
because he didn't. He had
set up
like,
a box at like 5 that
yeah, it was
night,
5.
5 that evening, and then
Hmm.
go back. So I don't think he used the failsafe. And then Abe, the so how it works is then future
Yes.
Abe then realizes that time travel is too dangerous, uses the failsafe before the experiment begun, and then
Yeah,
travels the 4 days back before the experiment is launched.
to prevent himself from
Mm-hmm.
traveling.
To prevent all of this from happening.
Yeah.
So he then knocks original Abe out, puts him
Yes.
in it, so he never conducts the original time travel. He meets
Yeah.
original Aaron at the park bench, but then he
The thing
realizes,
collapses,
but then
right?
collapses because of the time travel.
Yeah.
But then future Aaron, an Aaron from another timeline, has also
Yes.
gone back into the past
And he's
with
sitting at the bench
which
listening to what
mm-hmm.
he was supposed to say.
Well, he was armed with pre-recordings of the past
Hmm.
conversations
Yes.
in an earpiece, which then the Aaron talks about. This is an Aaron we actually see throughout the movie, also,
Yes. I think
who
I
then
remember there's at least 3 errands.
there's too many.
There's the hoodie errand and then the one who gets locked in the attic. That's all I
At this
know.
point, it's probably easier just to read the Wikipedia article. Who then
Seriously.
feigns realizing this, and the only reason future Aaron was able to get back there was because by going back in time at one point by using the failsafe before, he disassembled a third failsafe box,
Yeah.
bringing it with him, and then 4 days back in his past, and then recreates a failsafe box with it.
Yes.
Um, who then the future Abe realizes and fades into shock and fatigue from time travel.
Hmm.
Um, and then upon this, they also hear about this event where Rachel's girlfriend was nearly killed by the gun wielding party crasher, and then
Yeah, the
finally,
ex-boyfriend.
finally, after multiple time travel events here and fail safes, I believe they finally get it right. It's multiple. We see
Yeah,
things
it
here.
takes a while, a
Yeah,
couple times.
after and then the theory is the only reason they were Abe. I think Abe was the one that.
Yeah, Abe, because Abe never showed up to the party until
Mm-hmm.
the last
Oh well,
time.
Aaron knows. The names are too confusing. I can't do this.
Yeah,
They both start with
Abe.
A's. Please just give me correct names. Aaron
Aaron's the one who
stops it,
stopped the
and
gunman. Abe,
the only reason he felt confident about that nothing was gonna happen, was because he had his past self in a
yeah,
closet, unconscious.
yeah, and he did it like 6 times before that.
Mm-hmm. And then he becomes a town hero because he stopped the crazy gunman.
Hmm.
Huh. And then
Preventing his girlfriend's dad from, or Abe's girlfriend's dad, and going into the failsafe.
so basically, after a butt ton of time travel messing with the time stream, they realize that this time travel is too bad. So
Hmm.
both future versions of themselves, um, says to Aaron considers new lives
Yeah,
a new
Aaron
life in foreign
leaves.
country, where Abe disagrees because he has Rachel and his family.
Hmm.
Um, but then Aaron's like, "Oh, we'll just clone them also, and you can start a new family elsewhere."
Jeez.
Um,
But Abe also stays to prevent
he
the time traveling from ever
from
happening.
ever happening, which
Yeah.
doesn't stop them from ever going back in time because they're from a different timeline, and basically this all becomes really confusing. And then
Hmm.
Abe warns Aaron to never return.
Yeah.
And then we see after this point, um, this future Aaron shared his knowledge with the original Aaron via discussions and an original
Hmm.
voice recordings. Future Abe watches over original Abe.
Yeah.
And then later on, we see an Aaron working and directing a French-speaking
Yeah. The
worker in a
hoodie
construction
Aaron.
with a warehouse-sized box. Yep.
So there's at least 3 Aarons in that
Uh huh.
timeline.
Yeah, it's a real confusing movie, and we've been
Yeah, it's
at this
very
for 20
confusing,
minutes trying to explain the plots.
but it's really interesting though.
I absolutely loved this film.
I liked it. I really
I
did. I was this movie was awesome.
I think it was one of I think it's one of my favorite movies we have reviewed at this point. So
This
um
probably is my favorite movie we reviewed.
I'm real curious. I want to hear your thoughts.
Coming into this, I wasn't really expecting
I
much
mean,
just because
I didn't help you much. I said this was going to be a really really smart time travel film.
yeah, and it is. They make it believable. That's what it is. And I really like how they did the time travel because it's nothing I've never seen before. It's not like the Back to the Future time travel or, like the Avengers Endgame or Dragon Ball Z time travel. It's something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really impressed what they did with a $7,000 budget.
So yeah. Is that it? Okay, just your final thoughts.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
great movie.
I can't say much else. I mean, I knew what I was getting into. I knew it was going to be a really really smart time travel movie. As my older brother is the one that recommended this film to us, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of had a general idea just from reading that it was going to be a really really smart time travel film, and I kind of didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what I was getting us into at that point. Um, so, but after watching it, I watched it the first time and kind of fell in love with it. I mean, I thought it was
Yeah,
really
same here.
smart. I was really confused.
I was too. Yeah.
I mean, you haven't seen it as many times as I have.
No, I
In the
haven't.
past week, we're waiting and reviewing for this. I've seen it about 3 times. I watched it my first time. I watched it with the commentary, and I watched about half of it again a couple days ago. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think like on Thursday or something while I was working on a paper. Um, so intern. I mean, it was enough that I was willing to watch it 3 times just trying to figure out the plot and everything. Even after I watched the commentary explaining the plot.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of fell in love with it and all that. I think it has some great concepts of time travel, something like we've never really effectively seen before,
Yeah.
but something that's believable as it's these two people trying to gain advantage and get a one up on life by using time travel. As in, one of their first goals in it was going in time, uh, looking at
It's
it while they're ahead,
the
seeing
stock
what are the
market, right?
stocks. Yep, they use the stock market to gain an edge, and
Mm-hmm.
they went back to 6 hours. And during this time, they would when they went back from their past, the future selves would go back in time to the 6 hours, and then knowing what the stocks were like, they would buy stocks, and it didn't matter what company they were investing in, as long as it grew substantially in those 6 hours,
Yeah.
and how it grew. So they gained tons of money this way, and we see like just the beginning. This, as I said, the main plot of it takes place in about 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, not really, but it makes enough that it's like kind of substantial and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the timeline's stupidly complex. It's not an easy watch, but I think it
No.
captivates you enough, wondering what's gonna happen next. I think it's a great film, and you kind of have
Yes.
to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to it as if we haven't basically already spoiled the entire film, and realistically, the only people still watching is the people who have seen the film before. So I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
recommending this.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it
Mm-hmm.
if you're into, this kind of stuff, time travel, stuff like that. I definitely believe it's underrated. But
It has
this
a
is
cult
an
following,
underrated
by the
movie.
way. I don't know if you knew
Yeah.
this, but there's a cult following of it.
So it's like a cult classic,
I
right?
mean, in certain circles, but there is a circle that absolutely loves the film. Yeah, I think we should go on to rating To be
Yeah.
honest, I mean, actually, just real quick, I guess we can talk about this in private, but I mean, I don't want to make any promises here. But I think it would be real interesting if we continue this to actually review his other experimental science fiction film. His
Which,
other, it's called Upstream Color.
yeah, upstream color.
I think it'd be real interesting if we could look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably end up watching it in my free time, and then I'll talk to you about it. But I think if it's interesting enough, we might contemplate reviewing it. So look forward to
Yeah.
that in the future potentially. And we have source code. I think is our next week plan, and then we have a couple other plans ahead of that. So I think that's going back to reviewing up Primer. I think personally, I think I would give it like maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. I really loved it,
Yeah.
but you don't understand everything in your
Yeah.
first
It
viewing.
takes, I think the more you understand, the better you'll like the movie. If that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. IMDb gave it a 6.9. I would probably give it a 7. I enjoyed it. I'm sure I would like it more, if I again watched it a couple more times. But it's definitely really interesting, and by no means is it a bad movie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a movie I would recommend to people.
Yeah,
I definitely have kind of shown up and become one of my favorite movies. To be honest, I think it does everything what it does completely well, absolutely fantastic, and it does what it sets out to do as this smart time travel movie as in an
yeah,
experimental science fiction film. I think Shane Carruth, the director. I mean, he's directed. Um, I think it's this and then his other film,
yeah.
Upstream Color. Kind of, I'm looking forward to watching Upstream Color. To be honest, I'm interested to see what he does because it's another one of his uh, attempted science fiction film to get it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think unless there's anything else you want to add, I think we're gonna end it here. I think this is actually one of our shorter film videos we've done.
Yeah.
Made my life a lot easier.
Well, there really isn't much else I have to add besides, check out the movie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it's cheap. You can pick it up almost anywhere,
Yeah.
and it's an absolutely fantastic movie. To be honest, I guess that has been it. Tune
Yeah.
in next time for whatever we decide to review. I mean, we're so good at this that we've basically said, yes. Um, but I think we are set on reviewing source code next week. I think
Yeah.
this was also another
That's
movie that I've really enjoyed. I've seen it a handful of times, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. I'm curious to see what you think about it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, it's another time travel type ish movie,
Time
kinda.
travel.
I mean, ish.
Now we're a
It's
time travel channel.
yeah, essentially. Next thing you know, we're gonna be doing Back to the Future movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a time travel type film. You'll see, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. You'll see what I'm talking
Okay.
about. Well, this has been Flame Nash and Dr. Jones. Don't forget to
Tune in next time.
tune in next time.
Yeah.